So, after three failed Fantastic Four franchises, after a failed MCU multiverse saga, after the comic books stopped releasing due to low viewership, and after the trailers honestly didn't really hook me, the trailers got me kind of worried. Is Marvel back? Well, it's not back until Secret Wars is good, but Fantastic Four, I can safely say, is back. I decided to wait until the reviews came out because I was that worried about it. The trailers actually had me that worried, and the multiverse saga history had me that worried. But I was really happy to see this week when the reviews started coming out that the reviews were amazing. So I actually got my tickets for opening nights. I got my keychain for the opening night IMAX fan event and everything. And I gotta say, I was just smiling the whole time. I felt like a kid again watching this movie. It felt like the good old days when Marvel was at its peak. The cast was great, they had great chemistry. The movie divided their times up pretty evenly throughout. And there was also a lot of great references to the comic books, whether it be from certain characters that show up or even like the plot points that go down in the story itself. And it didn't lean on those references as a crutch. They were used to enhance the movie, just like they used to be. The story was surprisingly heartfelt, and it was actually really about family. They didn't just use that in the marketing. They actually worked the fact that it is Marvel's first family into the story itself, and really played that to great effect. Galactus was great to see. He wasn't just a smoke cloud like in Rise of the Silver Surfer. He was really cool. Honestly, not how I would do Galactus if I were making a Fantastic Four movie. But ultimately, that's just my comic book preferences, and the direction they went, I had no problem with. It was still really awesome to see. Silver Surfer, I love Silver Surfer in Rise of the Silver Surfer as well. Silver Surfer has just always been top 3 comic book character designs of all time. I mean, there's something so badass and insane about just a motherfucker on a surfboard, silver all the way through, flying through space. I mean, come on. And they surf in this movie. The Silver Surfer surfs in this movie. Sorry if you feel like that's spoilers, but free points from me, bro. Silver Surfer surfing, loved it. The cosmic imagery, I've always loved cosmic imagery. That's free points from me as well. I used to love going to the planetarium as a kid, and I love seeing space imagery of any kind anywhere. It does have end credit scenes, 2 of them. One at the end of the movie, one at the end of the credits. They're not really that important, kind of like Superman, if you've seen those end credit scenes. Well, they're a little more important than the Superman end credit scenes, but not so much that they're essential or anything, just in case, you want to know if you can leave before the credits end. So back during the Infinity Saga, when the MCU was at its peak, I used to love going opening night to the theater, just because I just felt like I was with my people. I've always been a Marvel fan. I was a Marvel fan before I even knew the MCU existed. I became a fan of the comics before even watching a single Marvel movie. And I would go opening night, and just the energy in the crowd. They would cheer when the Marvel logo came up. They would cheer at the big events in the movie. They would cheer when the movie ended. And after everything went downhill in the multiverse saga, Marvel lost that hype around it, and rightfully there was no more cheering when it came to the movies. The fans weren't cheering just because they were seeing comic book characters on the screen. They were cheering because the movies were also good, or at least they actually had something to do with the overarching story. I'll never forget when I was watching Quantumania, to dead silence on opening night, dead silence the whole way through. The only time where the silence was broken is when like the goop creature started screaming about his holes, and some 10-year-old in the front row started laughing like it was the funniest thing he's ever heard. And I was just like, yeah. This is where we're at. This is who this movie's for. That one kid. As opposed to for everyone like they used to be. So I also love the fact that watching this, it was just like the good old days. The audience clapped 3 times watching the movie. Twice during the movie, and a 3rd time when it ended. And that just filled me with nostalgia, made me smile. I'm glad to see the fans actually seeing something that they like again. Me included. So yeah, starting with Thunderbolts, it seems, and a couple other things. Multiverse Saga hasn't been all bad, but Marvel's starting to slowly earn back that applause from the fans, and I love that. So I mean, it's not perfect. Some things I would have done differently, but maybe I'll make a spoiler review. I'm gonna see it again tomorrow. I should probably make a spoiler review and talk further about everything about it. But anyways, if you like comic book movies, I can't imagine that you won't have a great time with this. So go see it. I highly recommend it. I would give it a extremely biased 9 out of 10 right now. I'll probably come back in the future and give it an 8 out of 10, but that's still a really high rating for me. So, so yeah, something, outro.